created for itself. Maybe going back to yesterday a little bit. So kind of the same little range that we've been at. So we'll see if there's any impetus for us to move out of here. We did have a couple numbers yesterday when they came out that created some opportunity for us. We talked about that yesterday. Let's see if there's any numbers coming out this morning that could affect the market or move the market anyway for us. Durable goods already came out. We have pending home sales coming out here at 9 o'clock at the top of the hour. Could be a little bit of a market mover. Durable goods obviously did not move the market that much. Maybe bond market a little bit to the downside. Bonds, as you can see, it has a 36 handle, so they are under a little bit of pressure here. Definitely the odds of the 75 basis point increase in the next meeting in September is back around 50-50 right now. The bonds were at a 42 handle above. Definitely the odds were right around 75 and a quarter against 75 basis point rise, but numbers have been coming out and the market's been reacting negatively since the bond market anyway. If you look at the chat box area, you will see the levels we just gave out the text form for you. They're there to guide us through the day, and if we can add to them, subtract from them, we can tweak them a little bit, all based on the price action at any given moment. Nothing here is set in stone. How you enter trades, how you get out of them are totally individualized thing, always based on each individual's risk tolerance. Right. So everybody here has just a little bit of different risk tolerance than the other person. So it all depends on how many contracts you trade, how you get in, how you exit, so on and so forth. And there's no one right way or one wrong way. They are definitely based on your risk tolerance and how much many contracts you trade, how much risk you want to take on. All those things come into play here when we talk about the individualized risk tolerance. All right, so we got a little number coming out here at 9 o'clock. We'll see what happens there. Okay, quickly coming down here to the 21 area. A little first area of support that we have. All right, nice little rotation here against our 21 area. Again, we're not perfect, got down to 1 1/4 there. So hopefully you were able to scale in somehow, some way. And again, a nice little rotation against our 21. If you got in at 22, you got in 21.5. Hopefully your scale somewhere in there kind of worked out very nicely for, again, we're not going to be perfect. We've been close. We haven't been, we can't get to that one price. That's why we're always suggesting that you scale in. And even if you're trading one lots, find a way to have your entry point around that area. Not perfect. This is a perfect example, but the area did work for us, as you can see here, and a nice rotation here above. Nice little bounce here against that 21. If anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. Good way to start the morning here against our first little support area. We've actually kind of getting lucky in that sense, and being able to take advantage of these slow markets. They're not going to run. They're not going to run away from us. They're just gonna trade and see what we can do around an area. Even though the VIX is probably 23, 24, I'd say. But it's settled down here over the last couple of days a little bit. All right, nice little pop there against our 21. We do have number coming out here at 9, so we'll see what that brings us. We got pending home sales coming out here. All right, nice little pop back up here. If you were able maybe to stay long against the 31, doing a very nice job of getting up here and maybe looking at the, well, took some profits against the 28, but maybe looking at the 35 as our next, as a target and on our first level of resistance on the upside. All right, we're just kind of hanging around that pivot area there. Again, if you were along, suggested maybe taking some profit against the pivot area, and then we'll see if you can keep any up to the 35 and have a trailing stop on anything else if you are trying to hold on to anything. Again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. All right, first level of resistance we have up here as the market tries to inch its way back up is up at the 35 area. All right, market inching its way up here and looking for the 35 area as a little resistance. All right, market did get right up to, of course, 34. Like I said, we just keep inching our way close to that area and bouncing off here a little bit. Do we have a number coming out here in about 14 minutes? All right, again, if you did scale in, maybe you scale in there against a 35s or 34, just like I keep saying, we just keep missing it by a point, but hopefully you're scaling in. There's a reason we are scaling in, and again, it's happened again. But as long as we know and have to deal with it, hopefully you're managing those trades accordingly. Good job there, Philip. Yeah, we have to scale in, especially because unfortunately we're not going to be perfect. All right, nice little rotation against the 35 area there. All right. So hopefully you were able to, jump in there against the 35 area, just like the lower level on the downside there. And like I keep saying, we're not going to be perfect. And then coming back down here to the to our pivot area and bouncing up here a little bit. If you were having to get short, it's a good place to cover. Do have a number coming out here in about 10 minutes or so. Pending home sales coming out. Could be a little bit of a market mover. All right, back here to the low range. What was the overnight low? Overnight low was 41.10.5. All right, we're back here at our pivot. All right, back in this low range. Again, we've been range bound a lot lately. Yesterday we tried to extend the range here a little bit. They kind of moved around, especially after that number came out. We'll see if that happens today. All right, again, bounced off of our pivot area there, just kind of it's kind of hanging out here in this little range. Do have a number coming out here in about 5 minutes. We'll see if that gives us an impetus here. Again, we just went down to our pivot there and bounced back up. We do have a number coming out here in about a minute or so. Maybe they'll move the market here a bit. I don't know. Next level on the upside we have, like that, some resistance we have is up at the 42 area. Downside support really down at 11. Kind of in the middle here. We did touch and trade off of our first support and resistance area, so they are obviously a lot more riskier than they were when we first started. So it wouldn't be tapping those at all now, especially with this number coming out. I'll look at our next level of resistance and support to give us any good ideas or good areas to focus in on, I should say. But the kind of a little quiet. We're right around our settlement price here. The settlement price is at 30.5. So the market's just kind of dead in the water. Kind of figure out where it wants to go next. So, with the interest rates kind of inching their way back up. Everybody, earnings season coming out. We'll see. All right, we got a number coming out here momentarily. All right, well, it's out. Nada. And again, you can tell by the importance of how important the number is by looking at the ladder ticket and see if they line the load there or not as far as bids and offers are concerned. But you can see here they didn't really do much in regards to bids and offers there. They kind of kept them the same. All right, next level of resistance we have on the upside is up at the 42 area. I'd focus more on that right now. All right, again, just kind of bouncing around, coming back into this range, unfortunately. All right, just coming back down here to pivot area again, just range bound. Unfortunately, it is summer months, so we can't. We have to tamper down our expectations, but our levels work very nicely there for us. All right, we're just kind of again, it's still range bound, so all right, just kind of hanging around that pivot. Not much to really consider right now. I mean, our first and first couple of support levels or resistance levels worked very nicely, and now we're just kind of range bound here within that range. This is what I like to call the no trade zone until we bust out of this. It's been like this, as you can see here, going all the way back, most of the overnight trade. And if you look at the chat box area right now, you'll see the levels that are all were posted. Looks like Don's had enough. And we're just kind of hanging there.
All right, just kind of hanging up here on these interim highs, trying to see if we can get above this 35, 36 area, maybe get us up to the 42. Or just kind of just very, very quiet here. Anybody has any questions? A good time to ask, as we are just uh, kind of range bound here, kind of going nowhere fast, unfortunately. Again, we are in summer months, and we have had a couple good days of trading. So we have to take the trades when the market gives it to us versus trying to create opportunity, because we're not good enough to do that. Got to wait for the market to give us those opportunities. How you doing there, Frank? Might be all day before we get up there. We're just gonna set interim highs here. Trying to extend here up to the 42 area. But again, it's patience is important. I wouldn't be buying it here, but again, we had opportunities to the 28 area a couple times there, our pivot, and just kind of hang in here now. Let's see. Actually, it was yeah, 42 is correct. But the overnight high, so interim highs, let's say after the market opened up at 8:30, we'll assume the big S&P, right? We'll assume that the market opens up at 8:30, closes at 3:30. The overnight stuff is overnight stuff, light liquidity and very light volume. So it's just a way of how you look at it. I think it's more, there's not, just used to looking at it after the S&P's opened, the big S&P's opened up and the market opens up at 8:30 versus overnight stuff. Now we're trying to inch up here to the 42 area. All right, coming up here to the 1.5. So okay, now we got up there to 42. Oh, there's a nice little rotation off of that. All right. Well, this time we got 42. So nobody can complain this time that we didn't get the 42. Got up to 42.25. So everybody should be happy this morning. All right. Well, we had to wait for that one. Talked about waiting for it. Talked about being patient. Talked about waiting for the opportunity. And it did finally click in. If you're trying to stay short here, you're taking no heat and maybe just keep a tight stop. See if we can't, get a little lower. Again, if you're trading multiple contracts, you could do that, and you got a perfect entry point. And this is a way you can take out more than 2 or 3 points on a trade. It's a nice little rotation there against the 42 area. Yeah, good job there. That's fine. Nothing wrong with that. And as long as it worked out, you had your stop in place, so you're good. And you were very patient. All right, nice little trade there against our 42. So our levels worked out kind of nicely for us. This one at least got up to 42.25. So if you were trading the level straight up, then you did okay. And even if you didn't, if you scaled in, it did rotate back down here with very minimal heat whatsoever, not too much heat. Given how slow it is, and good chance it's going to rotate right back into the range. It's a nice little trade for this morning. Nice few trades. We've had just on our levels alone about 3 trades. There could have been some other opportunities there with any price action opportunities, even though it's slow. But at least we've had our levels that got triggered, and then also a couple price action opportunities there if you were a little aggressive. And again, everybody here has got different risk tolerances, so you don't have to take them. Those are, if you did take them, you're aggressive and you did fine with them. And they were all logical entry points. So again, we always have to have reasons for our entry points and our trades that we get into. And as long as we had good reasons for them, then we should, you could just jump in. Again, that depends on risk tolerance, right? Everybody here has different risk tolerances, so it's not for everybody. And then you have to also visualize the trade and understand why you're putting it on. And if you did that and you had a good reason for it, then that's great. And any reasons that we give for any trades that we put on, there are reasons why they're there, and there are also reasons why we have our price action opportunities and when to take them, when not to, and everything that I'm talking about is basically a taught experience in our education course that we offer. So any of this stuff interests you, let us know. Again, next level of resistance on the upside we have is up at the 50 area. That's what we're going to focus in on right now. We've got support down at 35 area. If anybody has any questions, good time to ask. As we are coming down here to the end of our morning session. Again, it's been slow, but at least we've been, given some opportunities. So we take what the market gives us. And sometimes we're trading a whole bunch, sometimes we're not. We average, and again, the keyword is average, about 4 or 5 trades a day, especially in the morning hours that we focus in on. And it kind of keeps us in the game and also gives us an opportunity to make a little bit of money. And you definitely don't have to be around for the slow, sometimes, trade that happens in the afternoon. And the afternoon dynamics are also different than the morning dynamics. And I think with our methodology, we focus in on the morning dynamics, helps us immensely with our methodology. Well, there's different amount of traders who are trading. I think there's more traders who are trading in the morning. You get some more volatility in the morning because of that fact, and also because I think as the day goes on, the number of traders are less, and the volatility is different than the morning volatility. I think you get a little bit more fluidity in the afternoon versus the more. I think there's more the technicals seem to work a lot better in the morning. You get more one-way trade in the afternoon. I think simply because I think the the amount of traders that are around who are focused in on trading. Definitely, as the day goes on, they do siphon out, and especially if they made a little bit of money, because in this business, if you make some money, you get to go, you keep trading, and there's a good chance, you get some of it back. So if a lot of traders who make some money in the morning kind of just take it and move on. So the dynamics change. The number of players are changing. The volatility changes. The risk tolerance, the risk that in each of these trades are also a little bit different than they are in the morning hours. I mean, I feel that way. Obviously, when there is a release of the FOMC, I think you get more traders who will be trading in the afternoon. So it's a little bit different if there's a good reason to be out there trading in the late afternoon. But definitely, if you're with the methodology that we have, with the technicals that we look at, and the methodology and the dynamics that we're looking at, I think it works better for us in the morning than it does in the afternoon. You definitely get more one-way trade in the afternoon than you do in the morning. We don't get these bounces that we're looking for. Again, if anybody has any questions, good time to ask. It's kind of hanging up here on these highs. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 50 area. Right now, I'm looking at support. We'll be back around the 35. But I don't know if we're going to get much movement. Bonds, though, down ticking, getting that concern in regards to, I think, the interest rates being hiked up. Definitely more at the 75 basis point area right now than we were about a week ago, where the bonds were up at a 42 handle. Definitely 10-year is above 3% yield. So making the push for 75 basis point hike almost better than, well, it was 25-75 a week ago, and now it's more better than 50-50. So All right, we're just kind of hanging here on these highs here. Next level of resistance we have is up at the 50 area. Bonds here continue to kind of do their own thing to the downside. Might put a little bit of pressure on these S&Ps. I don't know. It just seems like we're kind of following the bonds these days, especially since they are turning down here some more. Well, we suggested a little bit of support there at the 35 area and got right down to 35 there. I don't know if you were able to jump in or not. Got right down to 35 and give a little bit of a bounce here above it. That was our, if you were looking, suggested if you were looking to get long, that's where you would be maybe looking to get long there. If you did manage to get in there, you had a nice little scalping opportunity. Obviously, you have to have your orders in place for you to take advantage of that.